Some of you know that I was in the hospital for some days and I had collapsed lung. And yeah, I know. Still smoking. And then the next day I had to start work. I had to start my apprentice program where I worked 10 hours a day of heavy labor, moving stone. God, was I sore this morning. But I got a question by somebody, and they said, okay, a person should remain nameless. They wrote their name, the name of the person here, but I'm going to have it nameless. Okay, such and such person suggested I beg you to do a video on the question, what is a Christian? Apparently this person was afraid to define what a Christian was after defending John Shelby Spong, and I called him a heretic for denying the core doctrines of Christianity. I argued that the minimum Christian believer who accepts the historic Christian creeds. This person went on to apparently attempt to define Christian as anyone who has Christ-like qualities. Found it interesting, but wondered what you thought the kind of thing this person was articulating. I have heard before. Basically defining a Christian as a good person, having nothing to do with beliefs or religion, only external deeds. Peace. Well, number one, and I am saying this not to hurt feelings, not to offend, but I think it's sheer cowardice to not take a stand on something like that. Which if you're gonna argue a point and you don't take a stand, that's cowardice. Anyone who has Christ-like attributes, well, then that's every human being on the face of the earth. Even Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy and people who take joy in murdering children, Pol Pot, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler loved his dogs. He loved Eva Braun. He would have done anything for her. No. We have, let's say, two workable definitions of Christians. Of a Christian. When we say Christian, and we generally, we say Christian, and then there's the cults, right? Christian cults. Christian meaning they believe in the Trinity and the Hypostatic union, which cover most of the creeds. We can't talk about Christians who are non-Catholic or Orthodox, who are like the Gnostics or the Ebionites, and even Muslims would fit in there because they believed something about Jesus. They called Jesus the Christ. At least they called him Jesus Christ. But they would say things like sex, at least Gnostics and the Josetics would say, sex is evil, the material world is evil, sin doesn't matter because you're just sinning in the flesh, you just shouldn't sin in the spirit. You can say these people are Christian loosely. I mean, we're not talking about them as brethren. We're not saying that they're, any form of historic Christianity that has continued. They may have been early on, like Valentinus or Simon Magus or Marcion. They were still Christian, but very heretical. They were heretics. That's just a fact. As for a Hindu who is very good person, they mystically might be part of the church, but are they Christian? No. Does a Christian depend on your deeds? Well, it might. And I think in many cases it does, but if there's somebody who believes in Christ and confesses the creed to Christendom, it's part of the mafia, I believe we have to say the person is a Christian. We don't play judge in that arena. It's, do you believe X, Y, Z? Yes, you are a Christian. Now act like it, Doesn't let you off the hook to do evil things. You're a Christian, then act like it. But a Jehovah's Witness, they're Arian heretics, so no, we wouldn't, you know, they're not of the, I guess, Protestant, Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox view of things. And as for the Mormons, no, they cannot be called Christian in either sense, because they're pagan, polytheist, and just because they use the word Jesus and Christ, they've totally redefined it to mean something completely different. You could argue that with the Muslim, too, as well, with the modern-day Islamic form of Sunnism. And I would agree with you. But when we talk about Christians, we're not talking about Sabellianists or Arians. And no, the Mormons must be excluded, and there's been a debate going on for well over 100 years amongst the Mormons. Are they Christian or not, or are they not Christian? So, you're right. Christian must, at minimum, believe in the Nicene Creed or profess the Nicene Creed. Now, if somebody doesn't profess the Nicene Creed but believes everything in it, he calls himself Christian, I have no problem with that. If somebody has heretical beliefs and calls himself Christian, I have no problem with that. But if it's something like Mormonism, then no, not acceptable. If it's a Hindu or a Buddhist that do very, good works, no. I mean, they may be very Christ-like, but what is a Christian? A Christian is a follower of the way. Is one who they got called Christians first at Antioch, and they were put to death for their beliefs in Christ. Now, the Roman centurions that were murdering these people might have had a great family life and were very nice people, and hey, this is warfare, and this is the rest of their life, and they may have been very charitable. And I mean, you can find you can find writings, and I believe Procopius, where Julian the Apostate, he did a lot of these good things. Was he Christ-like? Some ways he's Christ-like. I mean, anybody who visits the sick, who buries the dead, who helps the poor, they're Christ-like. Does that mean they're Christian? No. And I think that's the arrogance of the American from the South. I'm not naming anybody in particular, but the idea that, if they do good, they must be a Christian. As if Christian and good person go hand in hand, because their worldview would just explode if you said, hey, that polytheistic pagan is a great human being and a good guy and loves his family and would help anybody out, so he must be a Christian. I think that's highly disrespectful to that person, and I think it's foolishness and cowardice on the other person's part. Another person that you mentioned, I have immense respect for, well, I have immense love for, and I love talking to him. But thank you for the question. But yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you. Good person does not equal Christian. There could be a Christian who totally does many wicked things, and there could be a heathen, a pagan who's very Christ-like in many ways, but they are not a Christian. Take it easy. I hope this answered it for you.